fifth talk under our cybersecurity seminar series. And then let me now introduce Professor Juan, who is the speaker for today's session. Professor Juan is a full professor and chair at the University of Salamanca. He was vice president for research from 2013 to 2017, and the director for the Science Park of the University of Salamanca. Chosen twice as the dean for the Faculty of Science, he holds a PhD in computer science from the University of Salamanca and a PhD in artificial intelligence from the University of West of Scotland. He is director of a renowned research group called Bioinformatics, Intelligent Systems and Educational Technology, which has been created in the year 2000. Professor Juan is also the director of the Iot Digital Innovation Hub and the president of the AIR Institute. He is the visiting professor at the Osaka Institute of Technology since January 2015 and has been a visiting professor at the University of Malaysia and a member of advisory group on online terrorist propaganda of the European Counterterrorism Center. He has also been the president of the IEEE Systems, Man in Cybernetics, Spanish chapter, and the academic coordinator of the Institute of Digital Art and Animation at the University of Salamanca, as well as the researcher at the University of Paisley and Vigo, Spain, and the Polymouth Marine Institute in UK. He currently combines all his activities with the direction of master program in master in cybersecurity, digital animation, mobile application development, digital intelligence, finance, technology, knowledge transfer, and R&D, blockchain, industry standard 4, smart cities at the University of Salamanca. He is also editor-in-chief of the journals like Advances in Distributed Computing and AI, Oriental Journal of Computer Science and Technology, and Electronics MDPI, Computer Science and Engineering section. Professor Juan works on the projects in the field of artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, IoT, fog computing, edge computing, smart cities, smart grids, and sentiment analysis. Professor Juan will be now hosting this talk. We'll be having this talk in 2 sessions. In the first 45 minutes, Professor Juan will deliver his speech and his talk. And after the talk, we will be giving 10-15 minutes to the speakers to ask if they have any questions. Thank you, Professor Juan. Now we welcome you to the session. Please take it from here.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Nasro, for your introduction. And thank you, all of you, for inviting me to be here with you this morning. I'm going to share my screen, if this is okay for you.
Yes, please. Sure. Go ahead.
So you can see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And then I'm going to open my presentation. Good, you can see it?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, very good. So, okay, first of all, what I will like to do is to introduce myself, so you know a little bit more what we do here in Salamanca, and then I will get into some products and some platforms we are developing in the field of cybersecurity. So we are quite a different type of research group than the one you maybe know in Spain because of our size. I have around 180 people working with me, but also about how we are organized. In that sense, I am running the Visite Research Group, as Professor Narro mentioned. This is a research group in which we are working 130 people, and it's especially focused on artificial intelligence. But artificial intelligence, especially in the past, it was something difficult to sell in the industry. and we are very much focused in the development of applied projects. And for that reason, we started to develop other units around our major core, which was the AI, which is the AI based, for example, on cybersecurity, on blockchain, on smart cities, bioinformatics, and so on. So we'll come back about it. And then, in order to improve our structure, because in Spain, it's when you are into a public university like mine, whether you are full employee and you can stay here for forever, if you are running on contracts, you cannot be for longer than 3 years. I decided to create the AIR Institute, which is a private research institute parallel to the university, recognized by the university and recognized by the Ministry of Industry in Spain as an independent research center. For that, they join us 5 companies, which are top companies in Spain, like Indra in the industrial companies. And now, for example, the next company is starting to be the patron of this research institute, which is joining us, is, for example, IBM, which is an international company you already know very well, and another one, which is a Spanish cybersecurity company called CSA. So now in Europe, we are kind of giving a step ahead and creating a new entities in Spain to manage all the funding we have for research. And we are creating in Europe what you probably know, which are the Digital Innovation Hubs. And for that, we decided to create the IoT Digital Innovation Hub, which was one of the first opening in Spain. We have associated to us more than 3,000 companies, and we belong to a region called Castilla y León, which is the largest region in Europe in size, not in population. And now all the digital innovation hubs of the region, we are joined in a DGS3 digital. And now we are managing a large amount of money in collaboration with the European Union, which for this year will be above 500 million of euros, which are not coming just to us or just for the companies that collaborate with us or the institutions that collaborate with us. But we need to apply to those projects to Europe, but using our infrastructure. So in that sense, we have the research group of the university, a private research institute, the Digital Innovation Hub, but also we have a number of spin-offs coming out from our company, from our research, which are companies that are very close to us and that commercialize what we do. Although most of the projects we do are commercialized by our partners because our product developed with European money or from the Ministry of Industry, and so that need to be put into the market, obviously, by a company, not by us. So in that sense, probably you have heard about of Spain. We are not that far away, only around 7,000 kilometers by road, and we don't even need to take a plane to communicate among each other. And in basically 3-4 days, we can be from Salamanca, which is here in the northwest of Spain, quite close to Madrid, 200 kilometers away from Madrid, to the Imam. So although why we are far away on a map, we are a few centimeters away. So for those that doesn't know, Salamanca is the oldest university in Spain, the third oldest in the world, sorry, in Europe, and was the first academic institution that used the name university and as for the studies we have here. So it's a very generalistic university. We have subjects of all kind and around 30,000 students. So as I mentioned before, we are especially focused on AI, but cybersecurity is something very strong, an element that we need to take care of, but also we have a strong unit on data science, machine learning, IoT, bioinformatics, neuroscience, blockchain, fintech, intelligent textile, smart cities, smart grid, and industry 4.0, because our idea is to bring what we do to the society in a reliable and speedy way. So we have many tools, many platforms that allow us to be very efficient. So our partners, the companies working with us, knows us because we can provide products very close to the market in a reasonable time, although normally most of the projects we approach are very complicated. Probably in some cases projects that they cannot solve in the companies, and we do not success in all the cases. In that sense, the economy is very global, as you know. So AI is not anymore an algorithm. It's more than that. It's a distributed system. We believe in distributed AI, that we need to develop everything we do with trust. So we need to use, for example, elements such as blockchain. We need to work with cloud, and we should know that everything is connected to the internet. And when you connect something to the internet, you open a door for potential attacks. So cybersecurity is something that is present in all our projects as a utility, I would say, something we need to have in order to be able to progress. And also in that sense, there are problems everywhere. And so we, to be honest with you, don't like the field. If the problem is nice, if the problem is already a problem, if it's a challenge, we like to do it, even if it's for healthcare, or even if it's for predictive maintenance, for logistics, traffic control, smart building, whatever. We basically don't say no to anything, only if it has to be something that challenge us and it has a high level of difficulty. So we don't provide a commercial product as such. So in that sense, one element that characterizes us is that we understand the artificial intelligence in a different way than others. And I did a large part of my PhD 30 years ago in the working for the British Royal Navy and in the Plymouth Marine Laboratory. And I learned something from my boss, Jamaican, that changed my way of thinking about AI. When you have a problem, normally you have data, but also the knowledge about the problem is there. And there are a lot of expertise in human teams developing products, and that have been working with machine tools, people working with guns, people working on the financial sector, on the bioinformatics, doctors of medicine. They really have a lot of knowledge, which we can represent here with this picture, but also they manage a lot of data sets that now are stored in easy access databases, but in some cases it's data that is provided on real time. So what we do is to use and generate tools that work and use the knowledge that we have to extract from the expert, but that are using data as well. So we have both what we used to call hybrid neurosymbolic system that use some algorithms running with data. Some of them store on databases, some other they new data on we get in real time, and sometimes in some cases we can deal with data coming to us from simulation about what it may happen in the future. So we have into consideration all of this information and also the knowledge of experts. That's why the SIEM I'm going to present you has something different than some others, as they do most of our tools, our platform, because we are managing large amount of knowledge, but also in combination with large amount of data. And why is that? Okay, because when I started researching on that field, I analyzed the evolution of the artificial intelligence systems. Most of the people, when they do a thesis on AI, they just focus on improving one type of neural network. Some other people focus on, for example, expert systems, or focus on one type of fuzzy logic models, and so on. In my case, I did something different. I tried to analyze what which were the best algorithms for each type of different problem. It's not the same to deal, for example, with a microarray of a patient. We have something like 4.5 million data values for one patient, and maybe you have data from 10 patients. It's different to work with that, for example, with one blood analysis of a patient that has 10 or 15 variables, and then you have data from 2 million people. So you need to use the best algorithm for each type of data set, for the type of knowledge you already have. And then, as you know, AI has evolved a long time, from artificial neural networks to expert systems to genetic algorithms to for example, fuzzy logic. Then by the end of the century, the last century, we started to work with multi-agent systems, and that they evolved into social machines. And we were, all of us, a little bit bored about AI for a decade or so on, especially during the time of the change from one century to another, where we had to work a lot, especially in the development of a new or adapting the old system to the new the changes in the clock, let's say it in that way. And then we came across something that changed us quite a lot, which was the deep learning and the large distributed systems, AI-based system, like for example in Europe the Blue Brain project, or in Japan the intercultural project run by Toru Ishida, in which I was involved for many years. So we pass from the simple neural networks to that allow us to recognize an images or to recognize a tumor and so on, to after this decade, after this bored period of the AI, to what we call now the deep learning with projects, for example, like the ImagineNet, that allow us to learn how we could use images, millions of images, to recognize, to create systems that automatically recognize that information. That was a huge step ahead, and by maybe elements like pooling and convoluting images, we were able to reduce the size, to identify and to create different different images from another images with using different filters. We were able to create systems that were able to recognize what there was on an image automatically with machine learning or with deep learning. even better than a human just a few years ago. That changed a lot to us, and then we decided to modify and to create new product that we are applying now in the field of cybersecurity. So let's go into the point now already. So in that sense, what do we have here? Okay, first of all, I'm going to talk about this SIEM. What is a SIEM? In case you know, or I'm sure you know what it is, but it is an element that have been seen as one of the elements of a SOC and a product, a kind of even an architecture or a concept we use to keep the security of critical infrastructure or of infrastructure. Maybe they are not critical, but the infrastructure that need to be protected. So we will go through it, then we will see how we are applying artificial intelligence in a different way, the technology we are using, and then finally I will run a video demo to show you what we have already built. So a SIEM is basically a security information and event manager solution that in a way centralize the organization logs, all the information that we created, we need to take care of, that correlate and analyzes logs in real time in looking or search for cyber threats, automatically mitigates detected threats. We need to identify the threats, the anomalies on the network, and try to stop them. And then we create a product to visualize what is going on there. So as you know already, I've been working with Europol for many years, and we work with different security forces here in Spain. And basically, different studies tell us that, for example, cybersecurity is the fourth biggest threat for the society nowadays, and we can see problems, at least in Spain, in Europe. Every day we have millions of attacks, and many of them succeed, and we are having problems in public institutions, ministries, in e-commerce, and hospitals, everywhere. I'm sure you are aware of this risk. But also, especially, I want to focus my talk in the connected industry. Europe started to develop this concept that came from Germany, which is the fourth revolution of the industry. The idea with this industry 4.0 concept is that everything on an industry is connected. Europe is putting a lot of money to companies to connect their industry, to connect their machine tools, to connect all the elements. And every time you connect something to internet, you open a door. And if you do not lock this door right, you will have problems sooner or later. And for that, there are already many SIEMs, commercial SIEMs products available, like those ones that you have here, like Radar, Microsoft Azure Sentinel. Well, there are many around. The major problem of them is that they are very expensive, for especially to small and medium enterprise, even for large enterprises that require a huge SOC system. But to mitigate that problem, what we have decided is to create one product which is cheap, and it's even better, it's more efficient, and in a different way, work in a different way than the standard SOCs that are normally based on rules. We work with AI, is because we believe systems or SIEMs, sorry, I am saying SIEMs, which is the Spanish word we use, but rather than using SIEM, I should be using SIEM. The SIEM system we create basically need to be adapted continuously on an automatic way to the changes on the data traffic on the architecture of the product, and we only can do that with artificial intelligence. And we have to reduce the stress of the operators. We need to minimize the number of alerts and only focus on the real alerts that are different for each type of industry. We cannot generate and create rules, and we cannot depend on an operator that maybe is with us or in some occasion may leave the company to work. So with him, with her, all the knowledge is lost. So in that sense, as you see, there are some studies around that say that the energy industry is one of the most vulnerable, because they are in Europe at least starting to connect everything to the internet without the adequate protection measurements, and they are having problems. The healthcare also is an area where there are a lot of attacks, and where they do have problems every so often. For example, the water, the wastewater central, and so on. So there are a lot of industrial areas where this type of technology may help. And in this concept of secure operations center, SOC, for example, in Spain, there is now a new law that encourage, and it's a law, all the town halls in Spain over 20,000 citizens should have their own SOC. So the industry also is adapted, and more companies are using this infrastructure to get protected by themselves. And the elements of these security operator centers are basically a SIEM system, which is what I'm going to talk about today, the one we have developed, or how we have developed it, the endpoint detection and response platform, and a network detection and response platform. So these three elements are the elements that combine that are part of this security operation center. And at the end, all the data generated by this network detection and response, endpoint detection and response, is validated and used by the SIEM system, that is the one in charge of providing information to the operators, to the people that is looking at the alerts. And in that sense, we started to work on this because working with some police forces in Europe, and especially in Spain, we identified that they were overwhelmed. And there are some studies that say that 79% of the security teams feel overwhelmed by the volume of threat alarms. A normal team, an average team, receive over 11 security alerts per day. So it is impossible to manage by a team, even if it's normally those teams are 1 or 2 people, no more than that, sometimes a few more in large organizations. But for example, in critical infrastructure in Spain run by the government, maximum they have 3 people looking at this information, and they are not 3 people 24 hours a day. So you can imagine there are no more than 1 at the same time. So they don't even look at a large percentage of these alerts. So, and also what we have learned is that in 2020, the global average number of days an attacker is acting against an infrastructure before being detected is 24 days. So people keep attacking because they know the system cannot identify they are attacking, and during 24 days they may have the chance to succeed with one of those attacks. So in that sense, what we have developed, the product we are going to show you, and I'm going to show you what we are doing and how we are developing it, is to create a system that uses artificial intelligence to offer to create a cybersecurity product, detecting new and unknown threats, reduce the shock alerts and fatigue, identify better the vulnerabilities and provide a better management, fight much better the bots that attack us continually, and it's a better endpoint protection. So those systems, what they do, okay, the SIEM system, what they do is they run a filter to get rid of up to 70% of the data they are managing. Then they carry out different contextual behavioral analysis. They analyze the user, where the information comes from, and so on. They reduce the number of elements to look at 10% up to a 10%, and then they use other techniques to reduce this 10% into a 1%. But even this 1% normally are thousands of alerts. So what we do is to say, okay, from those alerts we get here, we need to identify which one are the ones that are really bad, the one we need to take care of. So for that, we are using one of our products, which is deepin.net, which is a platform. You can have a look at it, enter, log in, and get a free user if you want, that allow us to read data from anywhere in a very simple fashion, then to apply artificial intelligence without any need for programming at all, neither to read data or to deal with the data, and then allow us to create dashboards to visualize the data. All of it without any need of doing any programming. It's a very good tool, and we are commercialized it in the fintech, in the smart city area, and also some universities use it for teaching. But in any case, this is the core element of many of our applications, like the one I'm going to show you, because we can use supervised and supervised algorithms for classification, regression, temporal series, test classification, image classification, perform clustering, and so on. One important element, as I mentioned to you before, is that I don't expect you to read what is here. We are continuously analyzing all the algorithms that come around, and we perform a literature review. We have a group of people looking how algorithms are improved, new possibilities, because our idea is always to apply the best group of algorithms to the different data sets we are using to solve a given problem. So maybe in that sense, as you can imagine, in this field, we have hundreds of data sources. Probably we will end having hundreds of algorithms working on this data, and always we try to use the best. So we try to analyze all the algorithms coming around, we classify them, and we have our own system to identify what is better. So in that sense, for example, to identify the novelty and the outlier elements of the things, we have tried many of those algorithms that are already there, and we decided, for example, to create a mixed product that incorporates isolation forest in combination with local outlier factors, in order to create a product that allows us to identify, okay, this is not normal for this machine, for this organization, and this is unusual, something unusual. May not be something wrong, may not be something bad. That's another algorithm that will tell us, but we have to pay some attention to this new event. So basically, what we do with this product is to analyze the habitual, the normal behavior and detect in real time anomalies, including, for example, advanced persistent threats. And what we have with our system, we identify all in green. You can see here all the potential risks, all the potential elements, all the potential threats that we have. And then at one point here, this is a demo we did just to get this image. We perform some real attacks on an infrastructure, and you can see here that our system is able to more alert us by providing a different signal that goes under a threshold that tell us, okay, this is a threat, but this threat is a real one, and that we need to look at, because something wrong is going on our system. So and one of the most important features of deep SIEM, the product we are developing, is that thanks to AI and to the algorithm use, is scalable, and it adapts to the traffic of a given organization or a given machine tool or a given element we are monitoring. Because as you know, threats change every so often, so we need to be aware, and we need to change the way we analyze data. So this is a type of network analysis we perform. We transform the information that is running on the network into a network flow, and then we characterize it, and that is the information we treat with artificial intelligence, with our machine learning, to identify these anomalies that need to be looked at by the proper operator. For example, the network analysis, those are some of the variables that we take off. We extract around 60 features, and also we provide to the system, to our network, useful knowledge. This is about, okay, it's not the same, the threats we have and the traffic we have in our organizations is not the same during the day and during the night, unless it's an infrastructure running 24 hours a day. The traffic is different during a business day than a non-business day. And maybe we have a change of users of our platform if we incorporate a new equipment to our platform, and so on. So all of this information is important in order to provide our networks the knowledge in collaboration with the data we read in real time, and we also take care of the historical data that we are dealing with. So it's also important to develop a system that helps us to perform a correlation of events. And so logs and event correlation is important, and we have built a correlation of engine that is based on common sense and transform into an expert system into the system. So basically, for this correlation, we use, for example, information that we have for the IDS, the instruction detection system, that detects a potential malicious web request to the server. Then we analyze the data, and we see it does what is being detected by the IDS is equally detected by the deep SIEM, using its network detection and response system. If we identify something unusual traffic from the server to an external network, and also we need to take care of the information coming from the endpoint detection and response, the EDR, that may detect the modification of the file in the server. So all of these elements are working in parallel, and it's not the same that alert come from the deep SIEM that come from all of these points at the same time, which probably it's a stronger alarm to take to take into consideration. It's important also in that sense to provide priority. For that, what we do is perform different operations. For example, natural language processing to identify the origin of a potential attack, the destination, the country of origin, if affect one service or another, the time zone, or well, all of this information that the common sense tells you, okay, we need to take care to this information. We perform natural language processing element to identify what is behind all of this flow of data, or the information about the traffic, and we use it. And for example, you have here a kind of sample where you have, for example, a product and an alert coming from China, destinated to a production web server, and using a HTTP service. It may be categorized as a high priority by one organization if they are not in use to get, for example, packages or data from China. And also this same organization say, okay, if we get a potential threat from coming from a server in Spain, and originally in Spain, designated to a development server, which is a FTTP server with a medium level of severity, maybe the priority is lower because it's something that this particular organization is normally having every so often. So when we develop a product like this, what we do is we work with the companies implementing the SIEM, and the system has to be trained for at least 2 to 3 weeks. And during that period, the system has to learn what is normal and what is not normal, what is unusual for this organization along this type of the year, and then keep learning continuously at the same time that already has a model that has been adapted to the given organization, to the given infrastructure we are monitoring. So in that sense, we provide this system as a software as a service from our own cloud system, but also many organizations, especially governmental organizations, but many companies, they want to have the product on their own factories. So it's not a problem. We deploy the product for them, so they take care of them in their own infrastructure. So it's probably better for them, and they make sure it is what they have. Just to start finishing, this is some of the tools we have used to develop our system, which, as you know, are commercial products. And for the AI, for example, for threat detection with machine learning, as I mentioned before, we use outlier detection and novelty detection algorithms. For the event prioritization, we use natural language processing, some supervised algorithms, and some classification ones like naive bias classifier in collaboration with C-support vector classification for vector machines. And for the threat analysis, we use machine learning with knowledge created by the known threats to identify unknown threats. And we use, for example, indicator of compromise for automatic generation using some deep learning tools. So, well, the platform at the end of the day is something very simple like that. So we have a product that allow us to ingest data from different sources. We work from Linux, Unix, and we read the SCADA system and so on. We carry out an initial pre-processing, threat analysis, and then we present here our product in a different dashboards, and we create an event management. So this is not a commercial tool you can buy. We need to adapt the tool to the requirements of each company in that sense, because we believe this should be personalized in order to carry out the work quite well. So this is a summary of basically the tools we have incorporated into our systems. And as you can see, we use, for example, Modbus to read SCADAs or IDS, and so for real-time threat detection, we use Spark, Pandas. You are familiar with all of these products. For threat intelligence, we are using these commercial tools that are incorporated into our system. They are not necessarily commercial tools. They are products you can use in your own developments. And we have a platform that has a nice visualization elements. It's fully configurable. We adapt to the look and feel of each company and so on, and to adapt to their need. Although in these tools the visual element is not that important. What is important is to generate alert and provide maybe an email or a WhatsApp or a phone call, automatic phone call to an operator to deal with a given problem and provide them with all the information to that problem. Normally, we take between 2 to 6 months to deploy this tool for a minimum viable product. Then we have to work with the company, and in large infrastructure would take from 6 to 12 months to have the final product already there. So, excuse me, just to some other elements. Just to finish, we have an edge computing architecture, and we are adapting DCM to be part of this architecture. For example, we are building our own edge CVP. This is a product that uses artificial intelligence to manage signals and to can be connected to any type of network and provide information intelligent on real time. And now it's also incorporated into DeepCM in order to improve its security of everything going around it. For compliance, to provide trust, a kind of a way to provide irrefutable proof. We are also very strong now in blockchain, and we are incorporating both Ethereum and Tron platforms to our DeepCM product. And this is some of the companies for which we are developing this adapting the deep intelligence and also DeepCM now, which is Renfe, which is the Spanish train company that manage all the infrastructure for ferrocarril for the trains in Spain. And this is Platinum company, which is the largest Portuguese industrial company called Sonai Arauco, which they provide the products for IKEA, good products. So we are doing a preventive maintenance in their plants. They have several in Spain, around 30 worldwide. And also we are developing this SIEM product for them. So we have some smart farming companies working with us. And with this, we'd like to finish almost on time, a little bit late. Again, thank you very much for having me with you here, and I will be happy to answer any question you have for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Juan. We have received some questions. Maybe I can repeat the question. The question says, have you ever...
sorry, I just forgot about it. If you don't mind, I'm going to share with you a little video, because I prepared that with you, for you, and I just forgot about it. Okay. So you can see everything I said, how it works. I'm going to put it in a fast velocity, so it will be fast, but that will give you an idea. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, please. Now you can play the video.
Okay. This is running fast. So this is a demo we have developed for you. It is not we really try to get one of the companies working with us to allow you to show what a real product running, but they didn't allow us for security reasons. But also you can see here the threats on real time, and you can see the historicals, everything, all the information about threats, where they come from. They have here, we read different sources of data, and we can classify the relevance of the threats, and the system provides that information on real time, telling us in all time which are the important elements to have to read off. So we have, you can see here, maybe this is going too fast. Let me see. This is, you see the frequency of attacks, and you can see the relevance and the peaks. So for example, we can, I'm going to stop it here. Okay, you can see here we have nine on this date, only 9 alerts to take care of, and we are, this is a monitoring our lab. This is we, in our lab we get thousands of attacks every day, and this is during the period we evaluated this tool to provide you with this demo, which a few days back. This is the number of threats we had, which is, this is 9,000. It's not 9,000. It's nine only threats are recurrent, because as I told you, most of the people that provide with attacks to us is attacking for several days continuously, and then they are all the same attacks. So and here you can see the time of the threat. Also, you can classify them, the risk, the level of the risk, the probability of the attacks, and that is configurable. Every company can say, okay, for me the better risk come from this place or from that other, and so on. So it's a very easy tool to manage, that provide just enough information that can be adapted to any company to see what is going on and where all the threats are coming to you. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for that.
Right, very good. So we have little time for questions. I really like the talk. We really like the distributed AI. Your use case examples are very interesting, and predictive maintenance in smart cities will be really something we would like to explore further. I have received some questions, you answered them, but again, for the sake of others, I will ask the first question. The first question says, have you ever tested the deep SIE in real-time environment?
Oh yes, we have it tested, and we are using it. Renfe company is been working on it. Aramco, it has deployed in 2 of their factories. We have also installed it in several buildings of the Spanish government, and we are working with the largest rabbit producer company in Spain, which is called ERMI, and they suffer many attacks. For you to give you an idea, they kill around 1 million rabbits per week, and they have around 80 different rabbit growing areas they are very automatized, and they start to suffer attacks, and people, for example, just for fun, disconnected the feeding machines and the air condition, the heating, and those rabbits they are very sensible to changes on feeding or changes on the temperature, and they needed assistance to protect the equipment, and they are using it. And to be honest with you, since we have started working with Deep SIEM, we have had very little incident. It's a tool that we sell them as a research tool, but the product is quite strong, very efficient, and deal with 99.99% of the alerts. Still, we need a little bit more work, but what we cannot catch, well, probably won't be catched by any other tool in the market. But this is always a run. We try to protect system at the same time that others try to destroy system. So we are running against each other continually. Sometimes they win, sometimes we win. So point is, we need to be there protecting continuously and improving our tool continuously. So that's why when we deploy a product, then this product needs a continuous maintenance and improving in order to be able to adapt to the needs of the companies and the changes on the cyber attacks. One thing I didn't mention is that we are parallel. We haven't got it integrated into the system, is that we are developing a product for the deep web and the dark web. So we will use information. We start from there to create a stronger deep SIEM. So next version of it will incorporate information and data coming from the deep and the dark web.
Thanks. Yeah, we have received other questions, but I will send those questions for you offline. It's about the predictive maintenance. Now I will request my dean, the college dean, to kindly conclude the session and thank the speaker. Dr. Abdullah, please, you can take it from here.
Assalamu alaikum.
I'd
like to welcome you all, and I'd like to thank Professor Juan for giving this interesting session today. And
I think there is a connection issue, but
I think so.
Can you hear me, Professor Juan?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, okay, Professor Abdullah will come in a while. Maybe we have Zoom issues sometimes. So I have a question for you. It says, you can see in the chat window, it says, can the attacker avoid AI alarms by lowering the detection threshold? You can answer this question in the meanwhile.
So can you repeat, please, again?
Yeah, there is a question from Dr. Abdullah Al-Muhaddab. he's asked, can the attacker avoid AI alarm by learning the detection threshold? This, the question is also, okay, I'll copy the question for you. It says, no, sorry, hold on. I couldn't copy the question.
Okay, is just the point is that maybe I can answer to you if what you can do is to adapt to the deep SIEM to your needs. So you can modify the alert threshold and define which alarms are more important to you. So if you start getting too many alarms, you can say, okay, there are too many, just reduce the level of information about the alarms, or in some times you are maybe seeing that you need more information because you the number of attacks are very high, and you don't want to lose any option and to be able to look at all of them. So the system is very flexible and adapt to the capabilities of the team looking at the SOC system, the SOC system, and also it's the rules can be developed by the system administrator. I am answering to your question.
Yes, I think you answered the question. So it was about the. Okay, so Dr. Abdullah is here now, so he will continue.
Sorry, thank you. I'm sorry about the disconnection of my internet. Yeah, just my question regarding the attacker. They know the threshold of the AI algorithm. Can they bypass the alerts, and how your techniques can avoid such attacks?
Okay, is that we shouldn't provide that information to the attacker. They will never know which are our level, our threshold. But also we manage what is unusual. So we identify what is an unusual level of traffic, for example. But we can also classify the level of risk of an issue. So even if something is usual but it's high risk, we have to identify. So maybe if it's under the threshold, we can identify that, okay, this is under the threshold. It may be not unusual, but maybe a risk. I want to look at it.
Yes, thanks a lot. And there's always a bit of a challenge to keep with the speed of the attackers. So I believe this always ongoing research for such stopping these attacks. So I would like to thank you, Professor Juan. I believe we have also the first AI program for undergraduates in Saudi Arabia and also in the region. And also we have the first cybersecurity program for undergraduates. And I believe by combining AI and cybersecurity, I believe we can do some advancement in this area. And we hope that by also strengthening our connection internationally, especially with your research group, we can have very good collaboration and very good advancement and very good benefits for both in both sides. So looking forward for future collaborations.
Thank you very much. Me too. Hopefully it will be the first step so we can collaborate. I'm going next week to Abu Dhabi, so I will be very close to you, just a few 100 kilometers away, I believe. So yes. I'm going to find, if possible.
Yeah, looking forward to welcome you in the Imam.
I fly very often to Dubai and to Abu Dhabi, so we will find an opportunity for me to be there. And also, we have a lot of open positions for researchers, for young researchers willing to come to do their PhD with us. So
that's good.
if any of your students are willing to come to run, we are starting next year also an artificial intelligence PhD program and a cybersecurity official cybersecurity master program. And if any of your students want to come, we have some grants and so on. We will be very, very happy to offer them to you and to your people in case you find someone willing to spend some time in Spain.
I really appreciate it and looking forward for the future collaborations.
Okay, thank you very much again.
Thanks a lot.
We are in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.